Howdy everybody, Farmer Dave here, coming to you live from Nelson Creek Farms in a beautiful, drizzly, cloudy 12th of December 2023. We're still heating with wood, as you can see. Thankfully, we got a ton of willow wood and black walnut sitting on the ground from all the tree cutting we did earlier this year. So heating up the old house hasn't been a chore. In fact, if you hear something running in the background, that's the blower blowing all the hot air out of the furnace throughout the whole entire house. Anyway, let's go see what kind of trouble we can get into today. It's a very cloudy, cold-looking, drizzly kind of a day today around southern Idaho. Yeah, it's not too bad right at the minute though. So I think it'll be safe to get out and maybe get a few things done. But first though, I want to tell you, there's some really big news coming up. But I'm going to be an ornery little turkey today. I'm going to make you wait till the end of the video to find out what it is I'm up to and where I'll be. Before we get started with today's video though, here's the first bad joke of the day. What animal has more lives than a cat? Why, a frog, of course. It croaks several times every day. We're going to get started today with something that I'd mentioned previously in an earlier video about getting some tires in for the little Alice Chalmers Bee. I want to get a bunch of parts in before we start working on it so I can get it in the shop and just start throwing stuff at it and get it done without it sitting in there for years like that poor Ford 850 did. I picked up a set of inner tubes and tires in the 400 by 15 size that are made in India. They're a company called ATF. There, you can kind of see it right there. And they're labeled as a Farm King. You can see it, Farm King right there. I think they kind of went overboard by not trimming off their molding nubs. But you know what? I haven't seen that much stuff sticking straight out since I visited the nudist beach in the Caribbean back in the early 80s. I also managed to finally get some 11.2 by 24-inch rear rubber for that little Alice Chalmers Bee because it has a 10-inch wide rim on it. These do replace the 10 by 24 tire. These Carlisle brand tires have a heck of a story on getting here. I went online, I ordered them from a company called, well, we're going to call it Easy Tire on eBay. These guys had the least expensive tire out there on the market. Even with shipping, they were still 75 bucks less expensive than what I could get locally. And I was led to believe that these tires were an American-made tire by, like I said, Carlisle. Well, come to find out, they're not American-made. They're made in Turkey, of all places. It says right on it, made in Turkey. Nice looking tire, good deep lug. It's kind of got the narrow lug in the middle, as you can kind of see here, for highway work, which we're not going to do. But these tires will work on either the Alice Chalmers B or the Farmall Super A or one of the Farmall BNs. But I had intended to purchase these and put them on the Alice Chalmers B. Like the most of you, I prefer to buy local. But at $75 a tire less, by buying the pair on eBay over buying them local, that made a heck of a difference for me. And then the local tires weren't American made. They were made in either Indonesia or India. Well, these were supposed to have been made here in the United States, and come to find out they weren't. So disappointment one there. Disappointment number two, Easy Tire Company that sells tires and ships them around the country every day, all day, didn't put my address on the paperwork. They just had the word customer. Yeah, so here we go. We got tires that are supposed to be American made that aren't. They didn't put a proper delivery address. All they had was customer. And they claimed they were delivered. Ordered them on the 17th of November. They claimed they were delivered on the 29th. I finally had to go and pick them up after the 1st of December from the local freight company, who was going to hang on to them for about 2 more days until they got notification on where they were supposed to deliver the dumb things to, because they didn't have a clue other than they were the final destination for where the tires were supposed to be shipped and then delivered from. That's all the paperwork and information they had. So, yeah. Would I buy from the company on Fleabay again? Easy Tire? Don't know at this point. The tires are excellent quality. They look good. I don't seem to have any issues with them in the way of cracking or anything like that, or mishandling. But as you saw them, that's the way they came. They weren't bundled together or anything. They were just 2 loose tires with shipping numbers stuck to them. Another something going on today is a little bit of property maintenance. You've seen me, if you've been following for any long length of time, used this contraption before. It's a piece of 3/4 inch PVC with a 3/4 by 2 inch PVC bushing glued to the end of it, and what the plumbers call an O-hub coupling. This thing's real easy to make if you want to make one. I opted to make one simply because I don't feel that the ready-made things that you can buy at the big box store are all that they're cracked up to be. One, the vinyl that they dip the metal claw into isn't very thick, and it doesn't take long for it to tear, rip, and the metal springy stuff to start leaking. So all this is a piece, like I said, 3/4 inch Schedule 40 PVC and a 3/4 by 2 inch bushing with what plumbers call a no-hub coupling. It's a 2 inch no-hub coupling clamped down to the 2 inch bushing, the outside of the 2 inch bushing, and the light bulbs literally just kind of squeeze in there. Yeah, because that rubber flexes. If the rubber gets hard, you're done, so you need to change it out. If I was to do this again in hindsight, I would have used the gray Schedule 80 3/4 or 1 inch PVC conduit from the electrical department at the big box store instead of the Schedule 40 white PVC. This stuff's a little too flexible. Yeah, sometimes I have a hard time getting the bulb put up there in the air because this thing's wobbling all over the place. Yeah, kind of like a drunk sailor. I was one of the few that saw the handwriting on the wall way back in 2007 and even earlier when Bush Jr., our illustrious president, signed the Energy Independence Act, which made all the incandescent bulbs go away. So I have a huge selection and collection of them. So we're going to stick one in this thing, just snug. Don't want it too tight. And it is round, so it does compress on it a little bit, so it does hold it fairly snug. We're going to stuff that up in the socket and see if it works. Now, if I can get that up in there and screwed into that socket without the bulb working loose out of the rubber no-hub coupling from me banging it into that tin shade or whatever, I think I got it in the right spot. We will attempt to screw it in. See what happens here. See how that's wobbling around? Yeah, it does not make for a real good deal. That's why I suggest using the gray PVC conduit. Hey, looky there. Give it an extra little turn and make sure it's in snug. And we have a light. We've all heard the jokes about why the chicken crossed the road, but I actually found out why. Yeah, the chicken wanted to join the band that was on the other side of the street because it already had drumsticks. I saw the mail carrier stuff a box into my mailbox today. Let's see what it is. Oh, hey, I got my new drive motor for the pellet stove. So let's see if we can't get that installed this afternoon. Yeah, I bet you that's what this is. As I was sitting there editing this episode, I got a knock on the door. I went out to go see what was going on, and there's a box from Steiner's. Now, I haven't opened this thing up yet. I'm just opening it up here in front of you. Alvis over at Old Red Tractors kind of gave me a heads up that this was coming. So it's from Steiner's, so I know it's not a gag joke, and I know it's not inflatable. So we'll see what it is here together. Hey, just what I wanted, some brown cardboard paper stuff. Oh my heavens. I know exactly what this is. Alvis must have realized my comment about him being an old fat guy trying to get on and off one of those little Alice Chalmers tractors, and what a pain it was. This thing is a step plate. I was actually eyeballing one of these, thinking about getting one. There's a pair of holes on a 2-inch square tube that runs down that you can rest your feet on, that it's on right near the brake pedals, and it's already pre-punched for a pair of holes. And yeah, these happen to fit it. I think it was for a cultivator or something you could bolt to the tractor. So Alvis, thank you. I am greatly surprised and very pleased. That'll work real well, and this is part of the stuff I will collect to add to the tractor as we get to working on it. Yeah, that's going to make it a ton easier to get on and off this thing. Yeah, can't believe you bought something orange and not red. That's pretty good. So anyway, Alvis, thank you. Now I won't have to keep one on my search radar. I'll stick it on there. That'll be on an upcoming video. Speaking of Old Red Tractors, got some big news to tell you folks. Earlier this year, he and I talked about getting together. That's too good. Oh, got to have the cowtails. I just happened to see one of them in there. He and I had been, thank you, Alvis. He and I had been talking about earlier this year getting together, and he had mentioned a thing called Everything North Carolina, I think is what it's called. Anyway, that will be taking place May 17th through the 19th, 2024. And yeah, one of my longtime subscribers, Penny, had suggested that maybe it'd be kind of fun if the two of us got together and did a joint video or two. So, Penny, Alvis and I are still going to need that bail money we were talking to you about, because this old fat kid's going to fly out there and catch up with Old Red Tractors, and we'll do a little filming. We'll probably be at the tractor pull that takes place Friday night, and then we'll be back again Saturday. Check out all the scenery and sights and all that sort of thing. So if anybody's out there at Everything North Carolina show, and you happen to see us, don't hesitate to come up and say hi. We'd love to meet you. Both of us would. In fact, Alvis and I were talking about that very thing again today. I asked him, I said, well, do you think we ought to have a set time to meet people somewhere? And he's like, nah, man. He said, I got on my YouTube shirt that says Old Red Tractors. People come up and meet me all the time. So I got some from made up here in town that say Nelson Creek Farm on it and YouTube. So just keep an eye out for Old Red Tractors and Nelson Creek Farm with YouTube on the t-shirts, and that'll be us. So anyway, thank you again, Alvis. That was quite the surprise. And yeah, we'll be looking forward to seeing everybody out in North Carolina next May in 2024. That's going to wrap it up for today, folks. It's getting cold and damp and nasty outside again, and it's too cold and wet to be doing anything in the fields, so the tractors are all staying parked for now. We will be getting to restoring some implements and stuff this winter, time permitting and weather permitting and so forth, so on. But in the meantime, I'd like to thank all of you that are the new subscribers to the channel. I've picked up a couple more in the last week or so. Thank you very much. So from me to you, thank you for watching. And as always, if you're interested, leave a comment down below and give me your thoughts and whatnot. And Penny, if you're watching, Alvis and I are still going to probably need that bail money. Yeah. So anyway, we'll catch up with you later. Be kind and nice and, well, courteous if you want to be to your fellow humans out there. And as always, be careful out there. I'm Farmer Dave, wishing you well. Bye-bye for now.